What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Axe Creation. And on this week's lesson, we're going to check out some fun chord voicings, as well as look at incorporating some diminished and augmented chords. So one thing that I find common in a lot of students is that their chord repertoire tends to be rooted on the 6th string or the 5th string, right? We all learn bar chords, or we learn open position chords. The guitar is an instrument that lets us play loud, big chords, and it's really fun, kind of like a piano player, right? A violin player or a horn player can't really do that. But I find that there's a lot of really interesting and intriguing chord voicings found on the upper string set, the first 4 strings of the guitar, and it's kind of uncommon ground for a lot of rock guitarists, a lot of beginner guitarists, and even intermediate guitarists. So I wanted to show you some voicings that I like to play, and as well as show you some ways to incorporate some diminished and augmented tensions. Okay, so we're in standard tuning, and if you want to follow along with the tabs down in the description below, you can find links to either PDF or Guitar Pro or both. Alright, so let's have some fun. So like I said, a lot of the chords we learn are bar chords, right? Many beginner guitar players struggle with learning how to play a bar chord. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the 2 low strings, the power chord aspect of the bar chord, and we're only going to focus on the first 4 strings. So you have this voicing, right? Ring finger on 5, 4, first finger bar 3, 3. Now, my pinky's not doing anything, so I can grab that 5th fret on the high string. That's a really nice uplifting kind of sound. It's a 9th. It's a whole step above the octave 8, which makes it 9. Now I can take my root note, which by the way, when you make this chord, it's in root position. It's root, 3rd, 5th, root again. It's your basic triad, your basic major chord. If I take my root and go down a half step, now I have this voicing, a very common major 7 voicing, a lot of built-in tension in there, some built-in dissonance, which sounds really nice. Still going to play that 7th that we just played, but I'm going to play this C sharp, get a major 7 sharp 11 sound, really fun. I can mix in my open E. That note is technically a 13, but it's all related, so it's okay to mix them together. So all of those chord voicings, here's with an A, with a G, with a 7, with an F sharp, the open E. We can play the C sharp, with the F sharp, with a G, right? Or with the A, which you heard me play in the beginning. Really nice chord, okay? So notice though that those chords tend to be built behind the root note, right? If I'm playing in 5th position, all of those notes were behind on the lower frets, okay? So now let's start playing vertically and in front of it a little bit. Look at some chord voicings. You have this one, which is a lot of fun. Really nice voicing. Again, we're just playing some upper notes based on that first chord that we looked at. A little bit of a stretch here to be easier to play, say, way up here, right? But we have this G, 5, 4, there's that E again, and then the 7th fret on the high string. That's the 3rd of the chord. I can invert these 2 notes. Play A on the top and F sharp here, which is a really nice chord. Okay, so we're basing that off of G chords, as you guys probably figured out. All right, so what we can do is we can move that, since I'm playing this sharp 11 chord, that's found in a key on the 4 chord, right? So if G is our 4 chord, we can go backwards, G, F sharp, E, D. D would be our 1 chord. So we can take all of these voicings we just did and move them to a higher position, right? So everything we just did, so the D on the 4th string is here on 12. So all of those chords I just played will work here as well, okay? So you can see that in the tabs. Another chord voicings that I really like is based off the C shape, right? If I play this C chord down here, but I move it up in the 7th position, I get this chord shape. Really common, again, very common shape. Chord, we're just going to chop off that 5th string and not play it. So that means we're left with this. Basically it's a little D shape up here, right? So it's 7, 8, 7, 9 with my ring finger. So that is a G chord with a B in the bass. Nice inversion, sounds very bright, very happy. Maybe not what you're looking for. Maybe you want some more tension, some more ambiguity. How's that one? Nice. I love this chord. So I got the B, the F sharp, the G, and there's my D, right? So it's a G major 7 chord, but with the B is the low note, not G. Okay? And again, we can go this way. If my root is here, I can play the D chord here. Right? Again, so I can just interchange those voicings. Okay? So if we're in the key of D, and D is my 1 chord, G is my 4 chord, well that makes A my 5th chord, and A is the dominant chord. A is the tension chord, that's where tensions come from. Right? So we're going to play an A7. But a cool little trick to the A7 chord is if I play, here's my chord. That's my A7. It's an A, a C sharp, an E, and a G. That's my A7 sound, your traditional dominant sound. But we can make a flat 9 sound by playing a diminished chord on every one of those notes except A, right? So here's my A. If I go to C sharp, and I play this diminished chord, which is 11, 12, 11, 12 frets, right? It's C sharp, G, B flat, there's my flat 9, E. All the chord tones of A7 except A. And that's, if I put an A over it, now I have this A flat 9 sound, A7 flat 9 sound, a very diminished kind of sound. Alright, so that's what I did there. In the chord progression, I played a D chord, different voicing, to create melody. And then I introduced an A7 flat 9 kind of tension off of the C sharp on 11, and then down to B flat, right there. And then I moved to G, all right? But I played this voicing, and then I played the more stable, that voicing, right? So I have D, different voicing, keeping that melody note the same, diminished harmony, and then moving to the G chord. So you're introducing tension and resolving it. And now I'm going to introduce augmented harmony. Right? Now you're going, Greg, where is this augmented sound coming from? It's not in the key of D major anywhere. That's right. We're borrowing it from G minor. Where am I getting that from? Right? Not to get too complicated, it doesn't really matter. You tend to borrow from the minors of chords. And typical in chord progressions, the 4 chord, you tend to borrow from that. You know, we've talked about this before in the modulation, where if I'm playing C, and then I move to the 4 chord F, and then I make that minor, right? That's where that comes from. So I'm borrowing the G chord in the chord progression that we're playing is the 4 chord, so I'm borrowing from the minor off of the B flat, right? So off of G melodic minor, there is a B flat augmented chord, just stacking major thirds. And that's symmetrical, just like diminished chords as well. So instead of minor thirds, it's major thirds, right? So as the diminished went from 11 to 8, right, moving by 4 frets or minor thirds, I'm taking this chord, this augmented chord, and I'm moving it up a major third, which is 5 frets, right? And I'm playing that voicing 12, 11, 11, 12. So here it's 8, 7, 7, 10, mixing in other notes, right? And then on the end of it, I just go down to the B, and then I step down scale, and I play a D major chord to a G major chord with the none. Alright, so there's some really cool, fun voicings. If you're unfamiliar with those, I love the way a lot of the sounds and the tensions work. in those. So if you bounce back, if you take those voicings and you bounce them back between the 1 and the 4 chord, you get a nice interchange and smooth voice leadings. And then to introduce tensions, we can play tensions off of the dominant of the key, which in this case was A7, or we borrowed from the minor 4, which gave us an augmented sound. All right, so like I said, if you guys want the tabs down in the description below, you have links to PDF and Guitar Pro. So as always, let me know what you come up with, and until then, I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.